Welcome back to the xoMAN podcast. I'm your host, Kiara Walker. Today, I'll be talking with Kendrick Sampson. He's an actor, activist, and all-around deep thinker. I really enjoyed the conversation I had with him, and I can't wait for you guys to hear about it.
Literally, I'm like, one relationship, it makes me question my life. The only common denominator is that it's divine. That's it. It doesn't look a certain way. It doesn't feel a certain way. We're taught to stay away from politics and religion. I was always the one to go towards what we're taught not to, because I'm curious. Why?
Those are the juiciest topics.
You know, I'm
most
like,
interesting
why is this
ones.
so bad? I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I like big butts and I cannot lie. You ain't ever gonna understand God. You ain't ever gonna understand love fully. You're not ever gonna understand peace fully. These are not things that you can, put science to.
We're talking about love, what masculinity is, what it isn't, and if we can even really define it. And his passion for social justice and just making sure that he is creating a space for people to feel safe, to open up and share. He's the go-to guy for that. I'm surprised, but then again, I'm not. Take a listen to this conversation that I had with Kendrick Sampson. Welcome to the xoMAN podcast. I'm your host, Kiara Walker. They say men don't talk. They hold it all in, never let their guard down. But here, we like to do things differently. I sit down with Black men from all walks of life, actors, singers, entrepreneurs, athletes, and everyday guys, to peel back the layers of who they are beyond the stereotypes. A space where Black men get to be real, raw, and unfiltered. We're talking about relationships, love, success, struggles, fears, and the parts of masculinity that don't always get the spotlight. Some conversations will challenge what you think you know. Some might make you laugh, and some might just make you look at the men in your life a little differently. So whether you're here to learn or just hear some dope conversations, you're in the right place. So pull up, listen in, and let's have the conversations that matter. It's time for the xoMAN podcast to begin. All right, you guys, welcome back to the xoMAN podcast. I'm your host, Kiara Walker, and this is the place where we explore the lives, the loves, and the lessons of extraordinary men, what we like to call the xoMAN. So today, I have Kendrick Sampson with us. Welcome, Kendrick.
Hello.
I'm going to throw some round of applause.
I need a little, you know what I'm saying? What's up?
Yeah. Welcome.
Applause,
I like the tease. I see what you did there. I'm feeling it.
I gotta represent my H-Town. That's Chris period on Instagram. Christina Rogers. She Black woman with tech, went to dental school and puts the retainers and protective layers in the grill. She's really dope. She's really incredible.
Oh, wow.
Game changing.
I was telling your publicist earlier before you got on, I grew up in Texas too. Now, I'm not from Houston, but I love the city and the city loves me, okay?
Come on,
they
that's
adopted
what I'm
me.
talking about.
I used to live in Grand Prairie outside of Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas is cool, but when it comes to the Houston-Dallas beef, I'm on Houston's side every time.
Hey, let's go. You already know what it is.
Exactly. So what part of Houston are you from?
I'm from the Southwest. I grew up in Most City. I grew up mostly in Most City.
Okay.
So that's what I claim. That's where I spent most of my time. Where my family, most of my family still lives. Some of them are in Sunnyside, South Park, mostly on the South Side. But yeah, that's where I was born and raised. I went to a different school every year. So I went to school in Houston and in Fort Bend. But yeah, that's where I'm from.
That's a lot of school switching. Woo!
Every year until high school.
Every year? Why?
Pretty much, yeah.
Just moving, or were you a troublemaker?
No, there was some. They weren't a good fit, we had. Me and my brother. Even sometimes we went to different schools. So he went to like Briargate. I went to Edgar Glover. We went to. So it was pretty. It was complex, but it was like behavioral. It was education. It was a bunch of stuff. It was
Well, I can see that, but I'm glad that the transition into adulthood, you're using your mouth and disrupting stuff for good, not for
You know what
trouble,
I'm
you
saying?
know?
Hey, look, that is what it
Yeah.
is. Good trouble. Good trouble.
Good trouble. Good
It was
trouble.
always good trouble. I was always a curious kid. I was always very,
Mm-hmm.
very curious. Like why? Like why are you telling me to do that? Like why?
Mm-hmm.
What's the reason for it? What you trying to?
Mm-hmm.
And I need an answer. Every once in a while.
Yeah. It helps when you have some understanding so you know why you're doing the things you do. You don't want to be a sheep.
You know what
I
I'm
feel you.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got healthy
Okay.
critiquing skills in my childhood.
So I want to talk more about your childhood, but before I do that and mess everything up, all the planning we did, we got to play an icebreaker.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so our icebreaker is red flag, green flag. I'm going to present like some sort of situation, question, whatever, and you tell me what you think,
Okay.
like your real feelings, the real Kendrick. Okay, so I'll do an easy one. Okay, she thinks Dallas is the superior Texas city.
Oh, that's sad. Uh, Poe misguided, baby. Poe, H-Town is always gonna be and Mo City if you really want to put it in there.
She probably likes to tussle if she's already coming out the gate saying that. Like, who says that?
That's
Okay,
classic Texas.
calling you pet names most of the time from the jump.
No,
Never by your name. Red
no.
flag?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, they're supposed to be right. Red flag, green flag. Yeah, a
Uh-huh.
huge red flag on Dallas. Huge red flag on getting too comfortable too soon. I can't do. Yeah, nah. Red.
Okay. What about if you meet a woman and so she's very vocal on social media and she is constantly challenging traditional gender roles online, right? But behind the scenes, she really does want those traditional gender roles. She just be on the internet talking crazy.
I mean, green flag. I'm cool with it. I mean, if that's what she really wants and she knows why she want it, if as long as
Mm-hmm.
she ain't looking for the abusive, status quo, like you like
Like no
certain things, but
toxicity.
yeah. I mean, like I don't. Yeah, we could get into that, but I'm not into traditional at all. But I also
Mm-hmm.
understand the purpose of it, and depending on what the tradition is.
But the real issue is she's saying one thing on the internet, but is living her life a different way. Would that bother you? Or it's like, I don't really care what you do on the internet. That's not real.
It's not that. It's just with this specific example. Like if you're not exercising the values in real
Mm-hmm.
life, if you are saying your values are different online and your values and that you exercise in life are fucked up, if they're harmful, if they are not what you say you are, then
Uh-huh.
then I can't get with it. That's a red flag. That's done. But in
Yeah.
this case, if she's sitting there like saying, "Hey, I'm challenging traditional gender roles. You don't have to do that, and you should challenge them, and you should question them. And at the end of the day, I've questioned them, and this is where I fall on the spectrum." I don't think that's hypocritical as much as it is a choice. But
Mm-hmm.
if she's saying like adamantly like I wouldn't ever do that, I wouldn't ever, and then it's doing it behind the scenes, then yeah, that's a red flag. But if it's
Yeah.
just like that's her choice, you know what I'm saying, where she
Mm-hmm.
falls, then I think that's fine.
Okay, I'll do like two more. So let's say she's highly driven and focused on her career and believes that building a strong relationship can only happen after she's achieved all of her personal goals.
Green flag.
Green flag. Okay. You can
Do
wait
your
around
thing.
like get to your thing.
Hey, do
Okay,
your thing. Yeah, do your thing. I'll be here. I ain't going nowhere.
okay. Last one. Okay, you meet a girl, everything's cool, and she lets you know she's poly. And she wants to know if you might want to join this relationship that she already has, or y'all can be together and look for someone else. Is that a red flag or a green flag?
I am um I am made and geared toward side nigga. So I'm not I wouldn't be the one in the relationship. So I
Uh-huh.
listen, you want me to join for a couple seconds, a little razzle dazzle. I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
Uh-huh.
But yeah. If you asking me to be in a relationship, I don't want one relationship, so I damn sure don't want two. Um,
That's a lot of communicating.
yeah, that's a
A
whole
lot of
lot of communicating, a
personalities.
lot of personalities, a lot of moods. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
space to carve out in your schedule. That's a lot to deal with.
I have met some poly people who are like, I can't remember what the number of people in that total relationship was, but somebody pulled up their Google Calendar. It was for the week. I thought it was for a month. That's a lot. So, I
Yeah,
get it.
nah. Yeah,
Like,
I
I'm
mean,
already
like,
stressed.
yeah, yeah. I'm like literally, I'm like one relationship, it makes me question my life.
Mm,
Two heartbreaks, two betrayals, two conflicts at a time when I still got work to do and I got family and all this other. I mean, y'all got me fucked up. I really, I would now, if you want me to come in and spice up your relationship, as
you got
long
a
as
few tricks up
y'all
your
don't bring
sleeve?
no drama on my front door, you know what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
Y'all got some understandings and agreements clear. Then listen, I'm all for poly relationships. I encourage them for people that can
Uh
handle
huh.
it, not for me.
Yeah, you can come in and be Mr. Fix It and go on about your day.
Yeah, I fix things. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with my hands. I'm handyman.
Okay, we're gonna get into that later. But before we get into that, mhm, I want to know like just a little bit more about who you are and maybe how you came into who you are today. So, like, we already talked about you growing up in Texas. You were getting in trouble. At what point did you know that you had a passion for acting,
Um, I mean,
or did you
I
fall
knew
into it?
no, I always knew I was a storyteller. And I mean, I didn't put it that way. I say that now, but I loved reading. But I read so slow. But I would stay in a book. I would sleep with
Mm-hmm.
books. I didn't sleep with like stuffed animals and shit. I
Mm-hmm.
slept with books. So and then I didn't sleep
Hmm.
much. I've been had insomnia since I was a kid. So my mom would hear like the books hitting the flow, throughout the night as they fell out the bed. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I was always super, super steeped in story. Even with music, my whole family was into music, not as a career. They had
Mm-hmm.
other careers, if you could call them that, some of them. And other, and my mom was like did sales, you know. So it wasn't like there was no art uh like career in my family or path in my family. But yeah,
Yeah.
but everybody was a storyteller. Everybody's a good storyteller, and everybody um loved music, and I loved the story in the music, right? Like I loved
Mm-hmm.
connecting to that. I loved the story that the melody told. And when I finally got probably around fifth grade, sixth grade, I got a chance to do an acting like class in one of my new schools. I came to a new
Mm-hmm.
school,
Yeah.
had to reinvent myself every year. And they had like a program where it was like a church school, but they
Uh-huh.
had plays in the chapel.
Mm-hmm.
and
Hmm.
and yeah, I fell in love and it was like, oh shit, you ain't gotta learn no music, and you I was like, this is
Mm-hmm.
so much. And then my brother wasn't interested in. I have a lot of siblings. Nobody was interested in this. And I'm a solo dolo. I'm a me, myself, and I can spend we have a lot of fun together. We're a good time and we're all we need. If I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to go to the grocery store, I wouldn't. But like for real, uh, when I found, in the same way that I could be wrapped up in them books, when I found that was my own little space that nobody else could be in, and I was away from my family, and I was away from, and I could
Mm-hmm.
just like delve into like just completely immerse myself into some sort of character, some sort of story.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love, and I didn't look back, and I started telling my mom, you know, I really want to be an actor because I found out people get paid for this. And I was
Yeah.
always out there doing impressions. When I'm storytelling, I'm like telling people, using people's voices, and like and mimicking Bill Clinton and Tina Turner when I was like little, and I was country as fuck.
Uh-huh.
And so they found it really fascinating that I could take on these characters. When I figured out I could do that in my own little space, and
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I want to do this. And my mom said, okay, here's a newspaper. Find an agent. I'm not going to do the work, but if you do the work, then I'll take you to class or whatever it is. So I found
Mm-hmm.
an agent in a newspaper, and I called them up, and they were like, what is this 10-year-old kid doing calling my phone? Called my mom,
Yeah.
like, is this okay? She was like, yeah, as long as he handles himself. And that's how I got into acting. Started sixth grade.
Oh wow. So you started in Texas?
Started in Texas. It was a much
Uh-huh.
different industry back then. Was the tail end of Texas, Austin being the like independent filmmaking capital of the world. It was like
Mm-hmm.
huge, and now you see the tax incentives they're saying are going up in Texas for a second time in 2 years, up to $489 million. They're trying to go
Wow.
back to their heyday, which was where pretty much what built South by Southwest, like this Richard Linklater and a bunch of folks went down to Austin, who's from Houston, by the way. You know, it is what it
Uh-huh.
is.
You gotta shout out your people.
And went to Houston. I mean, went to Austin and started developing a culture of filmmaking, and like building up like the workforce there. Well, basically
Mm-hmm.
offering skill and like teaching people about independent film, and it eventually became like the industry that is. It built the industry that exists in Austin now. And then when I was a kid, it was Friday Night Lights that was filming in
Mm-hmm.
Austin, and some other projects. But those were like the big things. And New Orleans had just started to take a lot of the business. So I had to
Yeah.
go to Austin. I had to drive to Austin. I had to drive to Dallas for like commercial catalog stuff. I had to drive to New Orleans. And I was like 14, 15, 16, 17, you know, going
Mm-hmm.
sometimes really often by myself to these auditions for the bigger projects like the Fantasia Barrino story. I remember I auditioned for that.
Uh-huh.
Had to drive all the way to New Orleans for that. But yeah,
Mm.
that's what I started, you know, really early doing. In Houston, it was more work like voiceovers, some commercials, and I did like a Church's Chicken commercial in Austin. A lot of the big commercials shot in Austin, and then industrial was a big one in Houston. So you got paid to
Mm-hmm.
do these industrial films for like UT Health, or you know them don't do drug kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, you know, oh, when you get into this situation, no, don't kiss me. That was one of my first like acting jobs. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I remember seeing those in school, and when they would do the MAD program or the DARE program, and you have these like skits and little series, everybody's in the gym. Yeah, I remember those. I wonder if
Yep.
I ever saw you. Probably not. I'm probably older than you.
I hope not. It
Okay.
was embarrassing, but I met one
It
of my
what did people
ex.
in school say? Did they ever see any of your work when
They
you were
loved it,
like,
but you know, we
yeah.
all kind of country. So they like when I got the Church's Chicken, they was like, "Hey, chicken boy, oh shit, that's it, oh shit, chicken boy," yeah, you know, and was really serious like about or Church's Chicken, whatever it was. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then but yeah, I didn't want anybody to see them the don't do drug things, and like they
Why?
saw them, but they laughed. I met my ex from high school, you know, that I dated in
Uh-huh.
high school on one of those shoots. It was like the first time she uh, because we had to kiss in the audition, and
Mm-hmm.
and I thought she was fine, so I was like,
You was
I
excited.
tried to partner with her. I was like, I could, we could practice. I was like, I could help you get comfortable with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up being in that together. So that was the good thing that came out of it. One of the first, I actually don't think I've ever told this. This is actually funny. I don't think I've even thought about this since it happened. But I had a big Toyota 4Runner, that I used to
Mm-hmm.
run around, and it was red, and it was the same one that I grew up in. It was a 1991 Toyota
Ooh.
4Runner. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and they wanted to use it in that project for, like, I'm pulling up to her house or whatever, but it's low
Mm-hmm.
budget, so they're like, can you use your car? And this is like
Mm-hmm.
my first project, and they paid me, I don't know, like a couple $1,000. So I'm a
Mm-hmm.
kid, I'm like, man, I'm rich.
I'm rich. I got
Yeah,
money.
yeah. And so I'm trying to do a really good job, and it might not have even been that much, it might have been like 1,000, but anyway, I got in my truck and I had her, and I'm trying to impress her. I'm driving, and I just learned how to drive. And I think I was like 15, had my permit. And
Mm-hmm.
I, instead of reversing, I went forward. I pressed the gas, and the producer's car was in front of me. And I hit the producer's car. And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
yeah, I started my armpits started sweating out, my butthole got tight. I was sitting there like, oh, and I'm looking like, damn, I embarrassed. I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm gonna drive, make her impressed, and she looking at me like, did you just hit the producer's car?
Right.
Is this going to affect my job?
Right. Might have to get some distance from you.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's like, you put my
Yeah.
life in danger. You know how to drive.
Yeah. So I know that you said that your mom was supportive as long as you were doing what you were supposed to do. What about your dad and your brothers and the men in your life? Were they pretty supportive, or what did they think of the acting stuff?
Um, at the time, it depends on which one. I got a big family.
Uh huh. How many
Sometimes
siblings?
I have 10 in all. I have
Mm
7 siblings from my parents, and then 3 god siblings.
hmm. Okay.
So, and I got like 25 nephews and nieces, and yeah,
Woo.
we fertile over here, my G.
Mm hmm.
Yeah, the men in my family don't miss. 2 of them got 5 each. Yeah, potent.
Woo.
And so it's a miracle I made it this far without any kids.
Mm hmm.
Um, but they are hilarious. All of them are quirky. They all are really interesting.
Mm hmm.
One of them was in prison at the time, and I mean, he would get every time I had anything, and I mean, it could be 2 seconds, one line, he would get all of his homies in there with them to watch,
Uh
and
huh.
then like write little letters, because they using every little inch of the paper to write letters and stuff.
Mm
They
hmm.
would be writing in the margins like, "Ah, man, we just saw this, blah 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 blah." And so, that was actually really dope. I mean, he's been super supportive. I mean, my other brothers have been supportive as well, but not like that. Like, some of
Mm hmm.
them might have had some shit to say if we got into an argument or something, or
Mm hmm.
yeah, it was a lot. My dad, man, my dad. Uh, shit, yeah, supportive is a really I don't know if I could characterize it as supportive.
As that.
Yeah, he wasn't against it.
Mm hmm.
He's very proud, but he's one of the people. He's he had a rough life, a very rough life, and he like fought in Vietnam. He was born in 47. He was
Mm-hmm.
born before segregation ended in rural Louisiana. Most people in Louisiana don't know this time. It's like
Mm-hmm.
a backwoods. It's
What's it
swampland,
called?
Grand Cane. Um,
Oh,
and so yeah, and
I
so
was born in Natchitoches, but
oh shit,
yeah,
oh shit,
yeah,
yeah. Natchitoches always confused me the way it's spelled. I
right.
know everybody say that, but yeah, north of that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, he had a difficult. He was drafted, um, you know, orphaned, um, so,
That is a
sometimes
life.
that he took that into his relationships and his communication. Sometimes it was, fucked up. So, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say like supportive, but he wasn't out of my life. He showed up. You might not always want him to. He was about his business. He not somebody to fuck with too much.
Yeah.
Um, but he's one of those people, and I have to watch myself because I'm kind of like this, where I'll brag about you all day, talk about you 24/7 to everybody, and be like, man,
Mm-hmm.
so and so is doing so good, and like I did at the beginning, that's just how I am. Like, man, this is Christina. Like, hey, Christina, and
Mm-hmm.
I've known her since high school. She's from Houston. She made these like that. That's how I am. But then to the people, I might not talk to you for 2 months. I might and not and it hasn't. That don't mean nothing. It's not no love lost. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
I'm a Pisces. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and so,
I'm a Virgo. My sister is a Pisces.
hey,
Yeah, she can be that way sometimes. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But
Sometimes
I
I'm
get
just
it.
like, I love you, but I got other things to do. I haven't even thought about it. To me, you're on my mind all the time. Um, so my dad would brag about me to my siblings and other people,
Mm.
like he done talked to me, and we ain't talked in a year or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I do know through other people how proud he is and how much he brags about me, but he don't necessarily say it to me. I know he'll probably see this and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about
Do you
me?"
wish that he would tell you these things? Would you like that at this point in your life? If he would be vocal with you?
He's vocal. He's interesting. He started like he's 73, 4, whatever, and he just started using
Uh,
emojis and stuff. So
yeah.
I'm like, it's weird, but he tries. Tries to. I think I don't know. But to be honest, I don't miss it. I
Mm-hmm.
do in other ways. Meaning, I don't necessarily. We had some bad blood. I still love him, and I understand
Mm-hmm.
him, and I want to understand him more and more. So I understand more about myself, and where my flaws are, where I can go, how bad my relationships can get,
Mm-hmm.
how harsh I could be when I, say certain things and talk to people that I love, and not think about it. So it
Yeah.
makes me be more conscious, but
Mm-hmm.
and I probably talk to him more than a lot of people, to be honest. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't necessarily long for that from him. I just long
Yeah.
to know who he is at his core and what drives him and what brought him to how he was and what I could learn from that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the pride and like he I don't know, people might see where he lives and think, it's humble or whatever, or like, low income or whatever. But where he came from, where I know he came from, y'all talking about the trenches. The
Mm-hmm.
trenches is moving on up to the east side.
Yeah.
Moving on up to the trenches, because the
Mm-hmm.
way where he came from and how he came up, like he's a survivor. Not only that, but he's also built. He could build a house. That man, like he knows what his house is, how it's framed, how, you know, all of that, and he
Yeah.
owns it. You know what I'm saying? And that is like a mansion to me, right?
Yeah.
And so I have a lot of respect as well as a lot of critique and a lot of criticism. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't long for it from him. What I do uh want to start fixing is I have a thing. My dad was always like, don't let no grown man tell you what to do unless he's me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he meant it, and he had uh backup just in case you didn't believe him. And so
Mm-hmm.
so he, you know, I had, while I was also like, you know, don't hit me, you
Yeah.
know, I was also like, that's the protection as well. Like, what I know you're not gonna do, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So I have a big thing with authority in that regard. And that was part of, you know, added to my curiosity that I talked about. Like that plus the curiosity was very much like, you know, not only am I questioning what you're saying to make sure that it's right, because I want to make sure it's
Yeah.
right. Now I'm also thinking, why are you trying to push your power on me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
or abuse your power, right? And that is largely, I know some of this is about masculinity, but that's a lot of what we're taught masculinity is
Yeah.
abuse or
Mm-hmm.
narcissism, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's what it looks like, because that's what America is. America teaches you to be individualistic and it's narcissism. It's like delusion. Like
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
Turn on the
That's
news.
the
Full of
American
delusion.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Like whiteness is delusion, and that's the American way, right? Like it's delusional, and that's what we're taught. Man, being a man is violence, and you know what I'm saying. And so,
Aggression and
yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
but and nothing's, to be completely honest, nature is violent, so nothing's wrong with violence in itself. There's violent, you know, hurricanes, violent, naturally occurring wildfires, right? um
Mm-hmm.
Earthquakes, etc. But when that violence is intentional, when it's a way of life, when it's a part of the culture, when it's one of the key tenets of how you operate, which is America, violence is at the core. Violence and delusion, like white delusion, right, is at the
Mm-hmm.
core, right? That's what teaches us how to be a man. So I do my best to separate his abusive ways, right, and my own,
Mm-hmm.
right, because I know I'm prone to it too, from who we are, right. I try to go back to indigenous. I try to go back to, you know, and try to shed a lot of that and really understand who he is, how he survived, how he knew how to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are things taught to us by our ancestors. So, you know, just understanding that, I think, is really important. But yeah, I look for, even though I have kind of that a bit of a complex with, like, you know, especially male authority, um, especially white male authority, it's rooted in truth. It's rooted in
Mm-hmm.
something that is healthy, which is a critique of, um, what I've been taught being masculine is, right, and how
Mm-hmm.
harmful that is, how abusive that can be, and that it doesn't have to be, you know.
So, what would you say,
So
as-
I long for,
with
like,
everything
that
that you've been
relationship.
taught, where you are now? How would you describe masculinity? What is that? What does that look like? Sound like?
It's being in right relationship with your environment, really fulfilling
Mm-hmm.
your function. Like it's understanding your place in the grand scheme of things. We're taught as masculine men or whatever to be very individualistic and survivalist and, like, yeah, protective, but protective like out of ego, like that's mine, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe your job is the protector right now. Maybe it's her time right now to be protector, and your job to, you know, do something else. What's your function? What are you most valuable for the, you know, and when you understand that your story. So the way that I think about it is, our stories, we're the lead of all of our stories, right? But
Mm-hmm.
if we understand story, we understand that other people intersect with our story, right? And so we're
Right.
not the lead overall, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so there has to be some sort of intention behind your actions and what and how they relate to each other and how they might intersect with and affect other people and your environment. How healthy, you can make your environment less healthy. You can make it
Mm-hmm.
more healthy, right? What is your place in that? I think that is uh, literally being a man. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is
Once
your
you know
place
what
and
it
what's your
is.
function right now? Um,
Uh-huh.
I shouldn't, say this, but in my experience, maybe I should, but in my experience,
Yeah.
women are better strategists. Women are, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Women are, um, should hold that, you know, I would, if I saw a bunch of men in the room and I wanted to put a strategy together, I would assume that if there's one woman in the room, she might be more strategic. I might be wrong.
Uh-huh.
I might be completely wrong, but I would
Yeah.
assume based on what I know about other men that she's going to
Mm-hmm.
think things through more thoroughly, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe your job, if you are somebody who is, jumps the gun, maybe your job is to wait for orders. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
so I really do think it's important for anything. I mean, whether it's, I think masculine and feminine are divine. I think it's a spiritual thing, and I think it's um, um, I think that it's not defined how we think it is. I think it's something that should be explored for the rest of our lives, right? Like, I have a few people in my family who are questioning their gender, questioning and I'm the one in the family that everybody send all the weird questions to. Like, oh man, I don't feel like dealing with this. Can you? And
Can
for
you talk
me,
to them?
because they know I'm gonna be like, that shit ain't weird, or if it's weird, it better be good, because I like weird. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. I love a
I'm
good
weird.
story.
Yeah. I'm like, our weirds better match. But
Mm-hmm.
but um but one of them was talking about. I think this probably sums it up, and I didn't get permission to tell this story, so I'll keep names and stuff out. But
Right.
one was saying that it's really hard to hear because they want to be more feminine
Mm-hmm.
and are um were like really sad and really questioning their existence because they didn't feel like they were feminine enough, that people were categorizing them wrong, or whatever it is that they were saying. They were making fun of them because they weren't whatever. uh,
Mm-hmm.
they uh, they
They didn't fit the
they
mold
they
that
see
other
themselves in their
people wanted.
head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't fit the mold that other people wanted, and they felt like this person was delusional for thinking that they are feminine, right? And
Okay.
my response to that was, black women have uh, bigger jaws, wider noses, and all of these things that we've been taught by white delusion that is not beautiful, is not feminine. Um, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is defining what is feminine? Black people look different all over Africa. Um, Even within whatever we understand as nations today, there's so many different ethnicities and families, and there's such a diverse array of what feminine is in each culture, and what it is. The only common denominator is that it's divine. That's it. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
look a certain way. It doesn't feel a certain way. And so I said, for me, if you want to change anything about yourself, my only requirement for my approval, which you don't need, but for
Yeah.
my approval and my involvement, I just want to make sure that you fall in love with yourself first. If you fall in love
Mm-hmm.
with yourself and think that I want to enhance these things about myself, then go ahead. You got my full support. Like, I want to enhance this about myself. I think that my jawline is feminine. I want a stronger jawline so I could be even more
Mm-hmm.
feminine. Whatever it is, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I support if you really, but if you're trying to carve something out of yourself, you ain't ever gonna stop carving. If you're trying to change something about yourself, um, that's natural, that's beautiful, that is probably everything that you think it is and want it to be, but other people, you're defining it by other people's opinions and terms. You have to fall in love with yourself and flaws and all. So yeah, when I think about masculinity and femininity both, I think of them as something that's divine. And when it's divine, when it's supernatural, it's not something fit. It's what we call metaphysical, right? It's something that's not physical, something that can't be uh, felt and grabbed, and therefore you can't really bring up proof that it is what it is, right? And you have to continually explore for the rest of your life that curiosity of what is it, and what does it look like in me, in the same way that you
Yeah.
pursue anything else spiritual. You ain't ever going to understand God. You ain't ever going to understand love fully. You're not ever going to understand peace fully. These are not things that you can, put science to, and come up with evidence. What you can do is interpret how you've seen it and how you felt it, and all of those non-physical indicators, and you just have to believe it. And that's something that I think you develop an understanding of for the rest of your life. And if anybody thinks that they can define femininity and masculinity, and what a man is and what a woman is, in a very succinct, like, science book, or even a novel or an encyclopedia, I have some news for you. You wrong. There's not enough, ain't enough space on paper to define it, because it's so different, in everybody.
Yeah, and everybody that we ask that has such a different response. Some people can't even explain it, and they
Hmm.
try to and they don't. They say what it's not. It's just interesting to hear everybody. But it's also interesting to hear your experience with this person who had opened up to you. It seems like you would be a really good person to talk to if you were going through some things, questioning some things. Like you said, they send everybody to you. Have you always been so like confident and self-assured for your own
Um,
self? Because
no, I
that's what
mean,
you're given. That's what it's given. Uh-huh.
no, I mean, I,
How'd you come into it?
it wasn't, I mean, confidence. Yeah, I'm confident. I'm confident in my knowledge. I'm not
Okay.
confident in physical anything really. Not growing up. I mean, I got made fun of by, I was pigeon-toed, knock-kneed. I had big glasses. I had big old ears. My teeth, these two front teeth, I always tell people, are the same size they were when I was born. And I had big, like, tortoiseshell glasses,
Uh-huh.
and I see a kid like that now. I'm like, oh, that's a cute kid. When I was a
Uh-huh.
kid, it wasn't, and yeah,
Yeah.
there were a
And
lot of
kids can be
questions.
mean.
Yeah, it wasn't like a good thing. I was flooding sometimes. We was in private school. They didn't teach me to make that my pants need to come down to my ankles.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
But
like,
you still feel that way?
yeah, I mean, I like myself. I mean, I think I look good. I think I'm sexy, but I'm also like, I know I'm nerdy. It's more like I did not think I was sexy back then. I did not think, I
Uh-huh.
was just like, why don't everybody else see it?
Yeah,
and
what's
and I
wrong with
wasn't
their eyes?
I wasn't like, I was like, I want them to see it, but I think I just got more and more comfortable with the fact that while I'm like, I want them to see it, it's more of an experiment of understanding how to fit in, because I went to a different school every year. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
understand the culture of the school. I wanted to figure it out. I'm always about fixing things. So
Mm-hmm.
putting things together. If that was my curiosity, if it didn't connect, I would explore that thing and become obsessed with it until I understood it all the way. It's either
Yeah.
0 or 100 for me. I'm either
Mm-hmm.
completely disinterested or I'm up, like, obsessed. And so, that's why I was reading so much and doing all that. So what was I saying?
Well, That's how I am sometimes. I was asking because it seemed like you're very confident and self-assured,
Oh,
but you were
yeah.
saying you're confident, but you
Yeah.
didn't always feel it like that.
Yeah, no, I thought, I was confident in my knowledge and my exploration. When I explore something, I explore it thoroughly. I'm either gonna be so indecisive because I need to know everything in order to make a decision. That's how I am. And so I want to
Mm-hmm.
be able to work it out. I need the detailed budget before the summary, right? Because you gotta summarize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
I need to
need
break
as
this
much.
down.
Yeah, I need as much detail as possible. I don't shop. I hate shopping because I need to look at every option to make sure that I have the
Mm.
best deal, the most quality. I hate it. It drives me crazy. So once
Mm-hmm.
I decide something, it's because I've thought about it so much that it stressed me out to the point that I made a decision, and I'm not going back on this decision.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that research and like my activism, activism and understanding and breaking down society and how much, if you're talking about black radical liberation, and you ain't got to go to college and go to all these scholars, these philosophers, street philosophers, these, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying, the people in the hood that are really fighting for the people and build it, they have the answers to life. Okay. And so, once I started hanging with folks like that and really breaking down things like that, what is masculinity? What is game? Right? Like you keep
Mm-hmm.
saying you have game. Are you just really saying that you can convince women to go past their comfort? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Are you just a manipulator?
yeah, are you just a manipulator? Are you crossing lines you shouldn't be crossing? You know,
Yeah.
are you trying to convince somebody? That's called coercion. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
what are you doing? What are you doing? Um, so it made me question a lot of the stuff. Like why aren't there services for mental health when I know everybody in my family deals with some sort of addiction or mental health issue, and I go to the Skid Row here in LA and I see those
Mm-hmm.
same people, but they're in different conditions. At least so and so got a trailer. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
out here, they on the street in a tent. Like what's not lining up? Why is it? It can't be just that they didn't have no job. Like you know, what services? Why is all the money going to police? Oh, hold
Mm-hmm.
up. Like, what is police are
And why
slave
is this happening?
catchers?
What's going on?
Yeah,
What can I
police
do?
are a direct lineage to slave catchers. Oh, so
Mm-hmm.
in the school to prison. So you saying that the cops that when I kept saying that why are they keep targeting the black kids in our school, that
Mm-hmm.
I was right? You know what I'm saying? That's what gave me confidence. Like nobody can tell me that they're gonna work harder than me. Nobody can tell me that's where my values lie in confidence more than anything. Every day shifts. I might think I look good
Mm-hmm.
one day, another day I'm like, why my face look like that? You know, but what it's not gonna shake is the work that I'm gonna be able to do on myself physically, what I'm building, what the community, that those
Mm-hmm.
values are what is the constant, and a lot of that came from literally leaning in the story, leaning into my curiosity, and reading, reading and researching,
Falling asleep with
watching a
those
lot of things.
books.
Yeah, just literally collecting stories.
Were you ever nervous in your adult life? Let me go back. I found out who you were on Insecure. And I said, "Ooh, who is this? Let me follow on Instagram." So then I go to Instagram and I see how vocal you have been since I've started following you many years ago about mental health and the social injustices that are happening. And I was like, that's really interesting. And it's good to see somebody in Hollywood, somebody black in Hollywood, a man that's black in Hollywood talking about these things. But was there ever a point where you were kind of scared to speak out, or it was just like, whatever, this is wrong and wrong is wrong?
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong is wrong. Like, yeah, we're taught to stay away from sex, politics, and religion. I was always the one to go towards what we're taught not to because I'm curious. Why? Why?
Those are the juiciest topics,
I'm
most
like, why is
interesting
this so
ones.
bad? And what I realized is that's also where we reveal our values, right? Like, if you're confident a lot of people are um, admire people who are really confident in their sex. Like, I'm really
Mm-hmm.
good at sex. You're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
because that's
You
one of
must
our
be.
most vulnerable areas. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So is religion. So is this is where other people are not allowed into your journey, right? Politics. Your vote is private. It's supposed to be yours. You don't have to tell anybody. This
Mm-hmm.
is That's where we reveal our values the most. What we vote for, where
Yeah.
we spend our money. You know what I'm saying? Where how we're
Mm-hmm.
having sex, how we treat the people that we have in vulnerable positions. We naked. You know, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you don't get more vulnerable than that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and we're taught not to talk about those things. What we believe, spirituality. But I leaned into those things like sex, politics, and religion. Actually, our issue focus areas that build power, our organization. Um, are centered around that: sex, politics, and religion. That's sexual health and liberation for us. Politics is state violence and labor. And then religion is mental health and healing justice, right?
Yeah.
Like, leaning into that and understanding what those values are and what your values are in them, I think breeds that confidence that you're doing things, because at the end of the day, we're all living a pretty difficult life. You know what I'm saying? Like, some
Yeah.
have more resources than others, but you can't predict the weather. You can't, you don't know when you're gonna die. You don't know when you
Mm-hmm.
going when a car, whatever it is, you don't know when you're gonna break a bone or whatever. And so at the end of the day, you just have to think about, is it worth it? Is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing, is this journey worth it? And my exploration in those, I think, has led me to really understand who I am and my purpose. Repeat your question again, because I went back to the confidence question.
I done forgot now, but I was just listening. I mean, I don't know.
Your last
Yeah,
question?
the last what was I asking you about? I was asking you something about were you afraid to be
Oh,
vocal about
yeah. And
these
so
things?
a lot of that exploration. So at my
Mhm.
core, one of my values is getting it right. And I think I
Mm.
used to say God, God tricked me and used my nature against me, because um, if you want to be right, you have to realize you're not always right, right? Like, you have to be right when you're
Mhm.
not right. You have to correctly identify when you're wrong.
Mhm.
You have to have a really good analysis. Um,
Yeah.
and I was grateful to learn that pretty early. Um, and I always was really curious about different things. So, like I was saying, 0 or 100, right? Like, I'm either completely out of it or I'm so obsessed with it. I'm going to study and research. And when I know it's right, I
Mhm.
can't get it out of my head. I'm obsessed with it. If I see something contradicts it, if you tell me these are the rules of the game and something's off about what I'm listening really closely. I'm good at instructions. I'm good at processes. I'm good at, you know what I'm saying? I,
Yeah.
I'm step by step. I think in systems. I'm always like, how does this connect and where does it disconnect? And if it disconnects, why does it disconnect? And let's fix it. And I'm not going to
Mhm.
stop until I fix it. And so if you tell me the rules of the game, like this bullshit that's happening up the America, and these white folks keep changing the rules, and now this fucking administration is doing all this bullshit.
Mhm.
If you tell me the moment you betray what rule you set forth, I already know who you are. And I know
Yeah.
what you told me because I was listening intently and I did my research, and now I understand exactly what's going on. It don't take much for me to be like, all right, these are the rules. You broke them. That's who you are. That's what you do.
Mhm.
You do it twice. That's a part of your character. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Yeah.
I think, you know, I think for me, that is, I can't live. I can't live if I don't correct it. I'm
Mhm.
like, it's connected so deeply to my purpose that if I don't call it out, it eats away at me and I'm
Mhm.
miserable. I'm like physically ill. So I don't waste no time I'm very much a rip off the Band-Aid. Once I've made a decision, I'm like, let's go forward, let's do it. I don't even like introductions in meetings, quite literally. I'm like, let's get to the business. And I
What's the
have to,
point?
yeah, I'm like, we know each other, we gonna figure it out. Let's get to the work. So and I gotta be careful with that. But yeah, I'm very much like, I have to say something or do something. I'm gonna do my part. So again, going back to what we was talking about with masculinity, where do I
Yeah.
fit in here? What's my function? Where can I excel? Don't give me something that I suck at, because I'm gonna waste your time, right?
Yeah.
This is where I'm good. I need to know my skills really well. This is where I'm good. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I can fix these things. I can do this. Whatever. Put me in, coach. I'm ready. And if not, send me to school. You know what I'm saying? I'm really good at research. I'm really good at learning. So give me the tools that I need to make sure that I'm in right standing. If it's not, we got to correct course. So
Yeah.
yeah, much like performing, right before I go on stage, a lot of the time I'm not social. Like, people don't understand how good I am by myself, because I'm good at interfacing with other people. I'm good at talking to other people. I'm good at mimicking. I'm good at mimicking culture. I'm good at, doing what I have to do, and I'm gonna excel in it. If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out. People know I party. People that party with me know that I party. You know what I'm saying? I
Okay.
have a
Yeah.
good hood time. Okay.
Uh-huh.
um but but if I'm not, I'm working. Like, I'm working obsessively. Or if I choose to be with family, I'm with family. You know what I'm saying? Um and so, when I'm all for it, I'm all in it. And if I say that I'm gonna do something, I do my best to do it. And I lost my train of thought a little bit,
It's
but
okay, because I got
but
my next question for you. You did answer, though. You did
yeah,
answer.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, speaking of tools and all that other stuff, you had mentioned sexual health, because we're about to switch it. And I want to talk about sex. I want to talk about sexual health, sexual liberation, and love. So you told us before that you're good at being a side nigga, right? And you could be
No, no, no,
Mr.
no, no.
Fix It.
Wait. I forgot. Because I want to wrap that up. I'm gonna be pissed if I
Oh,
don't. I know I'm gonna go
what?
back in my mind and say, why the fuck didn't I
Like,
think
damn,
of
I
this?
didn't say that.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
performing. Right before I go, I'm like super. I can be very antisocial. I could be dolo by myself and be really good, like really, really, really good. Um, and so when I do decide to go out, I'm out. So I'm having a good time. I'm interfacing with people. So people think that I'm good at that, or that I'm an extrovert, but I'm far from it. Before I go out, everybody who's with me, if they are with me, know that I'm like stressed. I'm like, man, I gotta talk to all these people. Like, my whole body is deflated, and I'm like, I just want to go to sleep. I don't want to pick out no clothes. I hate picking out outfits. I don't want to get ready. I just want to brush my teeth, get to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be comfortable. And then I go out, and they're like, how you switch up like that? Um, and it's the same thing performing. Right before I go out on stage, I might be I might be about to. I have to take a good number two before because who knows what's, what I'm saying. I gotta shit
Let it
because
out.
yeah, I gotta make sure I'm drinking some water, because
I
I'm
thought
gonna
you were
get
gonna
out
say a
there and
shot.
be
You gotta do. You
nah,
talk.
because that's gonna
Okay.
drive me out more. I might take a little hit of weed, but I gotta
Yeah.
be out there and and once I step on that stage, once that camera cut on, if I'm out of it, you gonna know immediately, because we're ending that take. We're ending it. But usually as soon as I step, whether I'm speaking, performing, whatever it is, that shit goes away, and I'm 100% focused on my job and what I gotta do. And when I get off, I'm so relieved. Um, and I feel the same way about when I speak out about things. I
Okay.
will have so much anxiety about it. I will be an introvert about it. I'm going to sit there and research until I know that I know that I know, because I don't want to have to speak. But I know that when I do, because you made me, because you are so fucked up, because I'm so passionate about this, because I know what I know, because I've done my research, I've built relationships, I'm going to deliver that message better than anybody. I'm going to make sure that I get out there and do my job. I'm going to say, okay, I was wrong about this, and this is what it really is, and y'all need to
Yeah.
know. So that's where my confidence comes from in activism and,
Well, you're doing good
speaking
work
out.
with it. And it's important. And the people appreciate it because you never know who you might connect with through the internet, or if they see you out somewhere or wherever and they hear you speak, they listen to you, and it's something about you that just really resonates with them. We need more people to continue to speak out about things that they care about. And people want to know that people care about what they care about too.
Sex.
But move. Yeah, sex. Let's get to it. The spicy stuff. Now, I got a note about discussing sexual liberation, and I was trying to think of a really eloquent way to put it. I couldn't. So I just want to know, like, for real, when you think of sexual liberation, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean by sexual
Sexual.
liberation? What
So,
you liberated from?
yeah, so our program at Build Power, our nonprofit is called Black Pleasure, and it's around sexual health and liberation. Our anchor partner
Okay.
is Sister Song. So Sister Song focuses on reproductive health for women. And so when I'm thinking about like sexual health and liberation, generally, it's applying the freedom movement, the movement for liberation, Black radical liberation, to sex, making sure that there's no, I'm an abolitionist. And basically what that means is ain't no, yeah, I believe, these systems ain't what they should be and that we need to burn it and build something better. But more than that, it's that we leave no stone unturned, no person behind, right? We make sure that, that we are inclusive and including all of our people, especially those when we talk about vulnerable, when we're talking about people who are easily accessible or more likely to be targeted, right? We're talking about those vulnerable people in those vulnerable situations. There's nothing more vulnerable than sex. There's nothing more vulnerable than sexual health. When you're talking about health, even in health. So we're always looking for what's being forgotten, who's being forgotten, right? And a lot of the time we talk about health, but we don't talk about sex in health because that's the taboo topic. We don't talk
Right.
about politics in health. We don't talk about religion, in health. We don't talk about religion and sex, politics and sex. So there is politics to sex, who you have sex with, how you have sex with them, what happens after sex, what health problems can come from sex, and what great things can come from sex, what beautiful life and creation and creativity and health can come from sex. And so when I'm thinking about sexual health and liberation, that's exactly what it is. It's leaning into sex, leaning into pleasure, that we deserve pleasure. Black people, that we call it pleasure for many reasons, but black is a color that encompasses all the colors, right? It's the
Yeah.
beginning, middle, and the end. You know what I'm saying? It's a identity, it's a culture, it's so many things. It's taboo, like it's what people think of as taboo and dark, and but dark can be good, taboo could be good, and so when I'm thinking about Black pleasure, it's leaning into Adrienne Marie Brown, who I love and who's incredible, and her pleasure activism, and thinking about how access to pleasure, access to a pleasurable life, vacations, sex, whatever it is, are way more um, uh, awarded to and accessible to wealthy people, billionaires,
Yeah.
greedy folks, immoral folks, and abusive folks, rapists like Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that is what those things are, you know what I'm saying, afforded to
Yeah.
people who will abuse a whole globe like Musk. You know what I'm saying? These folks are afforded better lifestyles, more pleasure. That makes us believe subconsciously if they get yachts and all this other stuff, Maybe we don't deserve pleasure. If it's not achievable, if we can't get the money that we need to have the pleasurable life, or the time that we need to have sex or pay attention to sex or our sexual health or whatever, or our mental health, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we don't have the resources to do that, we must not deserve it, because America tries to teach us that the people up top deserve that. Like, they work
They've
harder.
earned it.
You know what I'm saying? They earned it. Like, they work so much harder that they deserve uh, exponentially more than everybody else. I mean, that's some bullshit, right? And so we lean into thinking about pleasure in sexual health and liberation. When we think about liberation, it's such a big word. And when we think about freedom, freedom is such a big concept. And so what is on the other side of freedom? What is, when we get free, what is that? It's a pleasurable life, as best as
It's
it
a
can
sense of
be.
relief. That weight is
Yeah,
off your shoulders.
it's health. You know what I'm saying? Living a healthy life and being able to control that. It's having control over our stories. You know what I'm saying? And telling the healthiest version and creating the healthiest version of that story. Um, and yeah, it's, I think Dr. Melina Abdullah says, life that we can have everything we need and most of what we want. That is kind of how I think about it. Like, what is pleasurable to you, and is the way you think about pleasure healthy? Does it make other people healthy around you? When you engage in pleasure with other people, are you engaging it in a way that makes people better, makes yourself better?
Or do
And
you overindulge?
do you overindulge? Do you abuse it? Do you extract? Do you not, are you inconsiderate? Do you not realize your story intersects with other people, and that when you intersect them with another person, that is both of y'all's story, not just yours? Like, it's that kind of thing.
So many layers to it.
Yeah.
Now,
So
growing up, did y'all talk about sex openly in your
no,
household?
no,
Not at all. It was just
no,
like, don't do it, or it's like you're not hearing anything.
no. There was no like intentional conversation around sex.
So
Sex
how'd you learn about it?
happened, I'm sure.
Uh huh.
And we ain't want to see our parents, and they got divorced pretty early. But I mean, I got caught watching porn at one time. I think my mom was like, I like cried because my brother told on me, and and I was like, you asshole. I was like, fuck
Like,
you.
who does that?
Yeah, what the fuck you do? You told me about the porn in the first place. But yeah, it was, I I got in
How old
trouble.
do you think you were?
I was like, I don't know. I started early. I was like
Okay.
10 something. But either way, I um my mom was very much like, because my uncle died of AIDS when I was young, and that was her youngest brother. I'm technically the youngest blood sibling. Um, we got so many of them though. So who
Yeah,
knows? One might pop up.
I totally
But
understand.
as far as I know, and
Yeah.
but yeah, they what was I saying? I'm the
Your
youngest.
uncle
Oh, and
passed.
he was the youngest. And he's the
Okay.
one that my mom said reminded me of her the most, Randy, my uncle Randy. And it was during, the big stigma, like everybody was scared of AIDS. There was a lot of fear around AIDS. And he got it from a needle. And he faced so many things, like gay men were and women were the first to really help my mom, because other people wouldn't touch him because of AIDS, and they called it a gay disease. Um, and so she was really like, and very scientific. My mom was very matter of fact, so she was very much like vagina, penis. Like, you ain't got no nicknames for them. Like we
Right.
were
We're
in
gonna use the
McDonald's
real
line.
names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she didn't have any like real qualms around. I think she went to school for counseling for a while. Didn't get the degree. She went a different direction, but that was a passion of hers. So she was very much like, we can talk about whatever. We just didn't ever talk about sex. It was just like scary. It was just like, hell nah. And more not scary but gross. Like, I don't want to talk about whatever.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I didn't run from it, and it wasn't pursued. So I got most of my, and I also didn't take sex education class. Like in health class, there was no, I missed that, whatever it was. I missed a lot of school, so it probably was just me not at school, to be completely honest. But I did never, I had good grades, but I didn't ever,
Do
I
like
didn't
a
have
health
that lesson.
class.
So
Yeah.
my shit just came from obsession. Like, again, just really wanting to know. And I started very, very early. So I got in trouble a lot. I went to church schools. Sometimes I went and got in trouble for, playing with, it's a girl told me to watch her
Being a little
Barbies,
fresh.
and I was doing the Barbies was doing things, and I got in trouble. Or like, there were many different circumstances
Yeah. You just trying to
that
figure it out.
yeah, I was like, what is this? I found a Kama Sutra book. I was like, what is this? And we used to sneak and watch what Real Sex.
Oh yes, I did too. I did too. And then you have the other channel on the last channel so you can hit that last button real quick. Yeah. That was me.
Yeah.
It's a very
So
curious child too. I just wanted
yeah,
to
I
know what
was
was going on. What is this thing that everybody gets so worked up about?
right.
And you can make life from, or you could die from. Like, what's going
Yep,
on?
yep, yeah. And everybody does it. So what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it was more of me like being like, because usually there's no follow-up. Usually it's like, don't do that. And there's not like a whole lot of explanation or like, and so again, my authority thing, I'm like, so just that's it? Like, y'all not gonna tell me
Mm-hmm.
no more? Like, what is and so
What's going
I'm gonna
on?
go and find it on my own. And I found it on my own through the internet, through homies,
Mm-hmm.
experiences.
Yeah.
Some of them very dangerous. There were a lot of, I was on my own a lot, and there were like grown folks, men and women, that be hitting on like, and when I tell you, when I was below 18, I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
grow a mustache. When I swore up and down I had three little
3 little
hairs right
hairs.
here, and I would not shave. And there was, I mean, I looked like a child, and people would let me in clubs. I was promoting at clubs. People would, yeah, there was,
That is so wild to me.
yeah, there people would give you drugs, like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and like look for kids. It's a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So,
hear the stories. It just never stops being shocking to me because I look at a kid and I'm like, "Where's your mama at? Why are you here?
yeah, yeah,
Do
but
you
it
need
led
help?"
me, yeah, and I went to a lot of church schools. So a lot of it was
Mm-hmm.
connected to religion and shame and like, that's not appropriate or this is not. And that just made me more curious. Like, all right, well,
Mm-hmm.
shit, you know, well,
You still want to
why
know. The
shouldn't we?
curiosity
Why,
isn't gone.
yeah, why is it different? Why is it that, why am I not supposed to know more about a vagina? You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like, why are you keeping
Yeah.
that from? What if more men knew about vaginas when they was growing up, and they stopped
Mm-hmm.
trying to make it a whole sexual thing, and what happens with vaginas and what's behind them, and you know what I'm saying, and what happens per month after a certain age, then they would have a
Yeah.
lot. We would have a lot more men caring about reproductive justice. We would have
Yeah.
a lot more men respecting women's bodies, I believe. Um, so, I think it's important to be more open about that, and to be more direct with it too, and think about all types of different types of sex, and really,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think as a educational thing to build confidence, to build hygiene,
Mm-hmm.
and better health, but also like to understand the complexities, that how harmful it can be, how easily it can be harmful, and like, what are the healthiest ways to figure out what you like,
Mm-hmm.
because, you know I don't just
It's only so much
don't
you can
just
read.
yeah, don't just spring up and suck my toes. I don't know that we ain't discussed that. I don't know what I might have a thing now. I don't want to kiss you no more. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So how to have those healthy conversations, and whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. So yeah, it's that type of shit. And I wasn't saying that for me necessarily, although I'm not lying. Yeah, don't spring it on me.
Now, now, when it comes to you and anyone that you're going to be intimate, how does the conversation go when it does come to health? Like, when was the last time you were tested? Sharing results. Are you very upfront? Do you go with the flow? Like, how do you handle that? A lot
um,
of people seem shy or timid, nervous when it comes to that.
I am much more interested in protecting myself and making sure that I am, excuse me, I ain't got no gas. No. I that is actually true though. I'm like, do I got
Oh.
any gas before sex? Because man, that will ruin the whole thing. I got a cramp now. It ain't
Uh-huh.
coming out the right. So anyway, um, I want to make sure that I'm clean. I also have like probably if you talk about kinks and fetishes, mine is hygiene. One of them is hygiene. I'm
I
really
thought you were gonna say
attracted.
something fun.
Nah, if
Hygiene.
it smell
Okay.
good, tastes good, and it's clean. I like clean everything. I like I like hygiene. I like to understand how people think about hygiene. So, like, yeah, I like to make sure that I'm gonna be safe and that I'm not causing any harm. So I think about my own protecting, a condom or whatever. Um, and the conversation usually I start, but it's not. I think a lot of us go into it trying to get other people's information, and I think that's part of the problem. You going in trying to be like, how many bodies you got? Have you talked to my best friend? Do you know so and
That's not the
so?
most important part.
Yeah, is it gonna get back to my homie? Is it gonna get back to my girl? Is it gonna get back to my partner? You know, that's more what we're worried about. And like, hey, is this good chemistry, and is this good match? And all of those things are somewhat important, but it's not anything more important than just being like, hey, just to let you know, I'm clear. I ain't got nothing, or I do. I have something. This is what I got. As long as I'm
I just want to let you
you,
know.
yeah, I want to let you know so you make your own decisions. It's not contagious. It is contagious. If I wear a condom, I've talked to my doctor. Whatever it is, if that's how y'all roll, that's how y'all roll. You should be, own it. And it's just like any other sexual encounter. You might get in there, pull your pants down, and y'all not a match. You know what I'm saying? You might, you might
Yeah.
get in there the way you breathing in my face, I might be like, this ain't working, or I might like it, so you don't know until you have those conversations. So I think you put it up front. This is what I like. This is what, and then invite them to join in on the conversation, as opposed to trying to dig and get what you need out of them, and a lot of them also are more worried about getting a nut than like
Anything
understanding.
else.
Then understanding where you are and how you might harm somebody in that pursuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you gotta be careful about that. You don't know who's hiding in the closet. You don't know who. You know what I'm saying? You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to make sure
Yeah.
you having those conversations, which are much easier if you're focused on freedom and liberation and leaving people better than you found them,
Yeah, I mean, life
than that
happens and
delusional white
casual
American
things
shit.
are fun. Oh, well, yeah, you don't want that coming into your life. But,
Yeah.
casual and fun things can be fun, but it's not fun when the few minutes that you could have took on the front end, you could have had a conversation with somebody, could save you a world of trouble that could potentially happen later. So y'all got to be safe out there and
Yeah.
don't think about it before you start undressing or whatever, however you get down.
Mhm.
Now, I know that we have to wrap up soon, but before we go, I want to know, and I know everybody watching wants to know, we've got to know, what's your type?
So
Do you
again,
have one?
I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I like
So
big
nobody with
butts,
wedding
and I cannot.
plans.
I like big butts, and I cannot lie.
Okay.
I mean, you can have wedding plans. You just better have whoever you're wedding to better have a good understanding of what you got going on, and that you proposing it to me. Because my number one rule, my type is no drama. My type is
Stress
my
free.
yeah, it's usually an energy and a connection thing to me. I mean, I do have a thing for, dancers and athletic types, um
Mm-hmm.
big butts,
Do you
black,
have a celeb crush?
melanin. I have
Melanin rich. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like those things. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I do have a celebrity crush. I mean, I have,
Uh-huh.
um, yeah, I mean, well, I was about to say that, but people would take it the wrong way. I was gonna say Issa, but it's
Oh.
more like, like for real, she's just, yeah, I got a crush on her in every way possible.
Mm-hmm.
That business wise, you know what I'm saying, creativity, but there's a bunch. I have crushes, to be completely honest. Everybody I hang with, I think is sexy. I think is confident in whatever they're confident in, is
Mm-hmm.
transformative, a change maker. You know what I'm saying? The people that I
Mm-hmm.
like to roll with, I'm attracted to. That don't mean that I want to have sex with them, but they're
There's
my
you
type
can
in that.
see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
and I really do look for that. Like the way my homies are. That's what I look. I look for that feeling if I'm a connect. And I was gonna say and fuck. Like if I'm, I
Do
said
you
it.
think that you're gonna always feel like I don't want no relationship? Is it like for life, or do you think it's a phase?
Nah, I
It's
think
for
I don't.
life.
Yeah, I think I'm not built for that. I always say if I'm gonna have a relationship, it's gonna be in retrospect. I don't believe in bringing somebody. I have to invest in the people that I love, and the family that I have, and the people that've been in my life forever. Those relationships are so complex and
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 you got a lot of
frustrate
them.
and frustrating, and so many of them, too many of
Mm-hmm.
them, and culturally different. There's so many things, and it takes all my energy to figure out and
Mm-hmm.
make sure they good, and develop relationships with them. A lot of them are like, why you ain't hit me back, why you ain't talked to me in months, blah 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 blah, and I'm steady talking about them 24. That's how they're my inspiration and all that type of shit. But
Mm-hmm.
that is frustrating enough. I and then to say that, you meet this girl, you meet this, that all of a sudden that's your, people call them my person and things like that, meaning like your mom ain't I mean, like you know what I'm saying, you ain't got nobody in your life up to this point that you're
Mm-hmm.
like, we're ride or die together for the rest of our lives. I love you, and I'm make sure you're always taken care of. That's difficult. So to have somebody new in your life and say that I'm gonna prioritize you over everybody, my family, my
Mm-hmm.
mama, my mama, you know what I'm saying? It ain't happening. It ain't happening. So
Mm.
I want to spend more time focusing on them. And then if I have a relationship, it'll be in retrospect. I always say it's gonna be in retrospect. Like I'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
damn, we have been doing this for 20 years, right? like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, damn, you still look good. Like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, let's do this. Hey, let's do it again. And we have our own lives. We have, you know what I'm saying? Like Shirley Ralph was talking about that the other day.
Oh yeah, I loved her response.
Listen, she's one of
Every
my
time I
favorite people
see
too.
her.
Like for
Mm-hmm.
real, one of my favorite people. And she's one of them people that show like you can have your own life and be in a relationship, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know.
Everything
But
doesn't have to be so codependent,
yeah,
right?
it shouldn't at all. But
Mm-hmm.
knowing that we're interdependent, that we affect each other, and that we need each other to survive as a community. But as far as attaching myself to one person and needing that one person to be everything for me when I need them that's unrealistic. It's unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? So
You
Yeah,
know,
and it
I
ain't for
have
me,
heard
and it
this
ain't for
before.
everybody. Yeah, it
It's
ain't for
not.
everybody. I really do think that.
I totally agree with you. People think I'm crazy when I say similar things. It's just like, how can I really be pouring into somebody and I'm working on me and all these other things? Like, that would be unfair. People don't get it.
Well,
I,
you got a
but,
bunch of people. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons, and the number one is American, delusionist white shit. But I will say, you know, everybody has a different understanding of what their function is in life, and sometimes people think, um, I think a lot of the problems in relationships. My nail dirty.
I can't
I
even see it.
look. I told you hygiene. I'm over here like
Uh
hell no,
huh.
you can't see. Um, but like for real, if you think understanding, what was I saying? Understanding that people, um,
People being different and like relationships aren't for everybody.
that yeah, that you might be forcing somebody into a relationship and trying to change them when they are not that type of person. They're not meant for that. And you need to get out of there quickly because y'all's goals are completely different. And if y'all not ever gonna have a long-term relationship, if your long-term goals ain't the same, it's gonna be
Exactly.
challenging
Or it's just
and
gonna
a
be a
fight.
headache.
Yeah, it's a fight every step of the way.
Now we do have to move on, so we're gonna skip our advice today. But before we get out, something that I did think about as you were talking was I want to get your hot take on this because another reason that I think sometimes people are so pressed for a relationship is the internet. Do you think social media and seeing Instagram and TikToks and stuff is kind of ruining relationships and people's happiness because they want to emulate what they see?
No, I think Christianity, the business of Christianity, the abuse of Catholicism and religion, and many different religions, to be honest, but definitely that, and like white delusion and gender uh, delusion. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's what ruins I think relationships were ruined before we ever got social media. The
Yeah.
divorce rate was what it was and all that stuff. And I don't think that the divorce rate is necessarily an indicator of like healthy relationships, but I do believe that it shows that people rush into a structure that is unhealthy, that binds them there. And, and we could really go into how, I saw a clip of Elizabeth Warren talking about this, where she was saying the, one of the biggest economic problems was when they convinced Americans that, and Americans, and by Americans it was really white people,
Of
but
course.
convinced them that since women can work now, because obviously they couldn't at a certain point.
Right.
Now they're joining the workforce. Since women can work now, your punishment is you need now. You used to be able to survive on a one person income, the man of the house, right? And that person could take care of multiple children because they was having children left and right back then.
Yeah.
Uh, Multiple children, wife, homestead, right? And not saying that people didn't struggle, but that was what income was expected to take care of. When women entered the workforce, the punishment to women was, all right, well, now you need two incomes, and now it's celebrated to have a two income household. Shit, by now with the way that Amazon, I mean, that all these people buying up all the homes and shit, all these billionaires, Black Rock or Blackstone, whatever buying up all these houses.
I
We
might
gonna
need
be
to be
lit.
in a poly relationship
Yeah,
to
we gonna be in a
survive.
six income. We gonna be dividing up the rooms in a second, putting the sheet up in the living
Yeah.
room. So but yeah, I think I don't think that the way that we've defined relationships in America specifically, more than anything, and what they see in Hollywood, which is part of sexual health and liberation, is really getting out of that delusion. Like, that is not the way life is supposed to be. This is not the way that relationships are supposed to be. We are very much one of my, and I didn't get permission, so I'm not going to say, but one of my closest homies, she wrote a whole thing around um, getting out of an abusive relationship, getting out of a relationship with a narcissist, and that shit pumped me up. So, because it was like she was talking about, staying silent because of this delusion that you develop, because narcissists are so narcissistic, and abusers are, and people who abuse their power are so manipulative that they convince you that you deserve it. And you start to question yourself and what you're speaking up on, and the way she wrote this about this relationship that she was ending, that she put the divorce papers on the table and said, fuck this shit, I'm taking care of me and my kids. I know my mom did the same thing, and how liberating that was to take control of your health and
In your
shake
life.
and shake that delusion. Reminded me exactly of what people in America need to hear right now. We are in a delusional, abusive relationship with America and what we think America is and what America has pitched us as our participation in this shit. And we need to shake that and use that voice, use that power, and shake that delusion, and make sure that we know who we are, take more control over the health of us and our story and our people. And yeah, I think, obviously we were just talking about relationships and sex and shit, but I think that is largely, how I frame a healthy understanding of sex and relationships.
Well, thank you so much. Before we go, I do want to know what you think. The best thing about being a Black man today, in your personal experience, what do you think is the best thing?
The best thing about being a Black man today is that I'm not white.
That was the most simple and straight to the point answer, but I get it.
No,
As
no,
stressful
for
as it
real.
could be, it'd be better to be on this side, right?
Yeah. Nah, for real though. I think the best thing about being a Black man is proximity to Black women. Like being close to Black
It's a great
women
place to be.
and sharing the melanin and being. I mean, I could go on for days about our connection to our ancestors, our
Yes.
divinity. I say I am not your magical Negro, but I am magical, nigga. Uh, I am magical, nigga. I am not your magical Negro, but you know what I'm saying. Like
I do have my
I
magic.
you know what I'm saying? I know where we come from, and I know what our power is, and I know how powerful we are. I want us to really lean into that movement of Black power and what it was intended to do, to understand and convince us and get us grounded in that power. So so yeah, more than anything, I guess that's the best part of being a Black man, is having access to that Black power.
And it's a wonderful thing to have access to. If you ain't got it, I'm so sorry for you, but just keep watching the show and you can hear about it, right?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can't come to the cookout either. Uh,
You're not having none of my ribs. I'm just playing.
but I'll
Well,
save you a
thank you.
plate. I'll save you a plate.
Thank you so much, Kendrick. I really enjoyed talking with you today, and it was nice to get a little bit more insight into who you are and how you see the world. We really, really appreciate it. Before you leave, let everybody know if there's anything that you have going on or coming up that you may want people to check out, and where to keep up with you.
Just make sure y'all follow Build Power. Build Power. You could spell it out, Build Power, or BLDPWR. On all the socials. I'm looking into these new socials.
I
There's so
understand
many
it's a
of
lot.
them. Spill app doing their thing, Black on. You got what Blue Sky and what's the other one? All these
I don't
other I
know.
can't.
It's too
I
many.
heard a lot of problems with Blue Sky,
Ooh.
but yeah, all of these, it's always going to be Build Power, BLDPWR, or spelled out. You could spell it out, but our handle is BLDPWR,
I'll make
and
sure
we
I
have a
link it for
website.
y'all.
Yeah, we
Okay.
got our website and all of that, and of course my shit is Kendrick 38, and my birthday's coming up 3/8. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Uh,
Happy early birthday.
very early. It's gonna be my
It is
birthday
very
every
early.
day. But yeah, stay tuned. We got a lot of stuff coming up. My birthday party is one of them. It's our biggest
Mm-hmm.
fundraiser of the year, and a really good hood time. And
In LA or Houston or
both,
where? Oh, I might have to
H time,
slide down to Houston.
both of them, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on International Women's Day. You feel me? March 8th.
Okay.
And the day
Yeah.
after the rodeo, Black Night at the rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. It's gonna
yeah,
be a
yeah.
time. I already know.
Yeah, and then we gonna come on down to LA. This my second home.
Uh-huh.
And we always have a really, really good time, a good hood time.
Those
Um,
are the best times.
but also make sure y'all get plugged into the work because we got some work to do. Okay, y'all, with these
Uh-huh.
fires, Altadena need to be built up. Our black neighborhoods, our black people, we gotta lean into each other more than ever and really flesh out and be curious and analyze. Don't believe everything you hear. Don't believe everything you see. Tech billionaires out there attending a fascist, racist, abusive, rapist inauguration, illegitimate president.
The list
And not
goes
mine.
on.
Yeah, not mine. These are the people running these platforms and media platforms, and so we have to be really super critical of everything that we hear and see, and really develop a really strong analysis. And more than
Mm-hmm.
anything, that analysis comes from leaning into us and connecting with each other in person, and making sure that we use technology to connect us further and not divide us and not replace us either.
Yes.
So let's make sure we do that and organize and make sure y'all come and find a home here at Build Power, where we
Yes.
liberate all, including ourselves.
Thank you so much, Kendrick. I really appreciate you.